Westerners' knowledge and industry get into China. So they try to study Westerners' knowledge. So they discarded Confucianism. Simple.
So Takai-san, please go ahead. I'm just listening for a second.
Okay. So the speaker said the Chinese consider the Confucianism as some the apparatus of making the limitation for the China to make economic growth.
No. Okay, why they discarded Confucianism? They tried to import physics and chemical to get more advanced of their technology. Try to make ship, try to make a more higher level of technology or weapons. With the Confucius need to give them some kind of industrialization. That they try to attain industrialization. So they much more focus on knowledge instead of wisdom. Okay, Japan the same, only the same time.
And none of this, also the example in the video is that the Xi Jinping is trying to take that concept of Confucianism back in their politics, where they can say the teaching is saying the governance of organization is most important to make harmonization of the society. Then that is, I think, also abuse of these lessons to take advantage for their benefit in terms of the politics.
Okay, they decide, they recognize, okay, instead of short range program, short range strategy, they try to consider for more long range strategy for how to train people. People training takes time. So Confucianism is long range planning. Okay, so Xi Jinping is switching from short sighted development, switching to long sighted development. Train people.
What's the point of Confucianism of the teaching the structure of organization for the governance? Are they saying the important point is obedience, loyalty to someone who's in charge of managing a country? That could be said as like hierarchy is most important.
Yeah.
Then that was considered as the hindering the development and growth in China.
What is it?
That concept of Confucianism, which put high priority in following the hierarchy.
Yes, one objective. Yes,
that was considered as the big burden for the China to make the development.
Yeah, that's right. But okay,
That's okay.
but okay, why 2,500 years ago Confucius cannot adopted by the local lord, local duke? Because local lord and duke is they much more focus on how to win their battle. Okay, next month, next year, how to win their battle, how to develop their weapon, not like how to educate people. That's the reason why he was not adopted by states, governors. But now is the same before. But recently Xi Jinping recognized, well, okay, without training people, that country cannot get growth. He understands that he put more emphasis on Confucianism. So this is a big threat for Japanese people. Japanese people now is more focused on how to win the battle, how to win the war, and they never focus on the people. So like past 10 years, we decide to globalization, and 10 years later, nothing happened because they never make investment for people. They investment money for the how to win the battle. But finally, they gradually, they should recognize they can win the battle at the long range, 10 years, 20 years, without people training. The same thing happened 2,500 years ago. That reason why Confucius is so poor, because nobody hired him. But now is many people tell me, Clyde, you're doing is what? One means long range, strategic planning for people, but many companies will not buy it. They are much more focused on how to win the war, win the battle, and at a short range.
Yeah, so win the battle, not the war.
But waging war is like Afghanistan, Syria is the same. Okay, why American government failed Iraq war? Because they didn't train the people in Iraq, in Syria, Iraq. So they just only the waging war.
Right.
And nothing happened. And they don't make investment for their local government, local people. So they hate America.
Right. So they focused on winning the battle and not the war. The objective of the war was to actually create change in Iraq. So the only thing that they did...
Exactly. And why American occupation for Japan is success? Because they much more emphasize on people. Ill-educated, but very successful. Change their mind, everything. People thinking approach. So that's the reason they success Japanese occupation.
Well, so I think that there is a you can look at it in many different ways, because why is there still such a big gap between Japan and the rest of the world? Why can't we easily...
Oh, good question. This American strategy. They never try to get narrowing gap between Japan and the rest of the world.
Well,
so this is a very strong their strategy for Japanese isolation. If they succeed Japanese isolation, those people cannot get out of Japan. This is their one of the biggest strategy.
But how did they do that?
No teach English, no teach and the rest of the world what's happening. This is their success. 70 years ago, their strategy, it was that. Right? Okay, just thinking about that. Occupied Philippines, they try to teach English. British occupied Singapore, they try to teach English. Every country try to teach English, except Japan. Japan they understand. Those people, very intellectual people, don't give them information about outside world. Okay? So completely shut out. So they success. So Japanese people cannot speak English. Japanese people they don't have interest in outside world. Okay? And they don't interest in Confucius. This is their leadership. Okay? And this is their strategy, their success. That's the reason only Japan isolated, except Asian world. Asian world is open. Everybody communicate each other, but except Japan.
But isn't like the whole identity discussion not only about what happened after the U.S. occupation? Isn't it much more multi-layered? Like, for example, like if you look, it's a little bit like those, the Outlook calendars. Outlook calendars. So basically, you can put calendars on top of each other, and you can look at it from different perspectives. So you can have, like, for example, public holiday calendar, your own appointments, another corporate calendar. You can put them on top of each other. They are multi-layered, and it's exactly like that with people. So okay, so you have your education, but you also have your cultural foundation, and everybody is kind of like, it's depend on which level you look. But even in you, and even in Kimoto-san, and even with other Japanese, there is still this level of Confucianism that still influences us today. There is also the influence of education, but it's not like a one-dimensional. It's not like a one-dimensional picture. It's a three-dimensional picture.